Now, I would like to start sharing the screen. And we will begin with our slideshow. Now, can you see already the beginning slide?
Yes.
Yes.
All good. I just will be checking from time to time because switching back and forth, there may be a little hitch or two. At any rate, these are some of the damas from the, we'll talk about this later. At any rate, there is my name and Mauricio's.
So we'll start talking about Carnival. I need to clarify that we are not experts in dance. What we wanted to do is to share some pictures. Many of you knows that I have a photography as a hobby, and Sallie asked me last week to share some information about local dances during Carnival because we just celebrate this event. Carnival in Bolivia means different things, especially with the Andean culture, means the time of harvest for the farmers. It's the time where farmers celebrate the how they produce in the last year. For every year is the carnival is during the rainy season, so it's one of the best times in Bolivia for the people who visit Bolivia. You know that we'll have only rains 3 or 4 months of year, so carnival is during this time when we harvest, when we produce, when we have all the products. So this is the celebration of the agriculture year. Next one, please. One important activity during Carnival is it's what we call the Chaya. We have a special day to honor the Pachamama, the Mother Earth. The tradition is to organize what we call a mesa. The direct translation is the table, but that's not the meaning. With different symbols of animals, minerals, and plants. You burn this mesa, and you basically in one place in your house you make a hall, or your house, or your place where you are celebrating this special day. You make a hole and you bury there chicha or beer or any kind of liquor with a dish, a special dish for this occasion, and the koa or the mesa. This is a special tradition in Martes de Carnaval, Tuesday for Carnival. This tradition is practiced all year round, like the first Friday of Monday in different places around the big cities and in the countryside. You can see the same celebration in a smaller scale. But in Carnival, it's a big event in the 12th day of Carnival. Next one.
I would add too that one practices a splash of your chicha or beer to Mother Earth whenever you might be out having such. So you just pour a little bit on the ground for Pachamama.
During this celebration, we have some special activities. The picture you see in the top is a group of Callahuayas or local shamans. These people are not dressed for the occasion. Something particular in Bolivia is that the indigenous people still dresses the clothes they had for forever, the type of textiles. There are few countries in the world that are proud of their textiles. Bolivia is one of it. And we have some special dishes for Carnival. People make empanadas for some days, but this special dish is called puchero. It contains fruits like peaches, pears, rice, and a special ingredient that many of you must probably saw in when they visit Cochabamba. It's called chuño. It's potato. It's basically dehydrated potato. In Bolivia, we dehydrate potato during the winter time using the freezing to preserve the food. for the rest of the year. This is a special methodology, especially for potato. With other products, we have different methodologies, but for potato, we preserve freezing the potato. It's the element. It's called chuño. The flavor it's quite a bit different comparing to a fresh potato. It's a special flavor that with like chicha. If you try the first time, you can love it or you can hate it.
I
So
like chunyo.
yeah. So
Yeah,
this is called puchero with also
yeah.
garbanzos in the top.
Garbanzo beans, and the
Yes.
meat, it would be beef and lamb.
Yes.
Yeah,
It depends of the region. Some people loves to add more types of meat, but normally it's lamb and beef.
yeah. And the item at the top is chuño, that
That's a that,
it's a
that
potato that turns dark in this freezing and thawing process that Mauricio was mentioning.
next one, please.
Now, the carnival is in Oruro, which is a city in Bolivia, is practiced in honor of the Virgen de Socavon, or the Virgin of Socavon. And what you see on the left are the dancers. Many of the dancers, just hundreds and hundreds of them, come into this sanctuary. As soon as some leave, others come in on their knees to honor the Virgin. Originally, she was the Virgin of Candlemas and was traditionally honored on the 2nd of February, like in Puno, Peru, but later the date was moved to Carnival. And that transition is the product of the Bolivian War of Independence. The place that Our Lady holds in the hearts of the people has a long history that dates from the colonial missionary period of Bolivia. Legend has it that when Oruro was a small town called Uru Uru, a terrible monster devil called Wari tried to destroy the people of the small town because he was jealous. Since the people were turning toward our Lord and the Virgin, the devil sent 4 terrible plagues to the small town and its people, and each time the Virgin interceded on their behalf and slayed the devil with a flaming candle that she carries. You'll see that candle there. And so the Virgin has a special place in the heart of the people in that city. One of the very iconic dances associated with Carnival is the Diablada. In other words, the devil dance. And these dancers wear these huge masks that often incorporate things such as a lizard or snake or condor. Those are the things that they're fighting against. Those creatures help the Archangel Michael to defeat the devil, actually, but that's why those get pictured in these devil masks. And you'll note too on the boots, these are white leather boots with red leather trim. And there's the snake on the boot. And they have a fancy apron that they wear. They wear a huge belt around the waist that's loaded with coins and a breastplate. And we'll see more of the costume in just a moment. These are the women devils, the lady devils. And there's a big devil mask over there on that man over in the far side. Another and another. Note the cape, how elaborately these are embroidered. You see this serpent on the cape, and some people make their living out of embroidering the costumes for these dancers. The work on this just takes months, and the costumes cost a big amount. Sometimes it costs almost a year's salary for some of these dancers to buy their costumes. And the dancers are accompanied by bears, among other creatures. This might be condors, or might be bears, or might be others. And so here's a bear wearing some white fur, and here's a brown fur bear. And here's a couple of bears that are dressed in alpaca fur. And the bear mask top left is one that's especially good at night, because his ears and his eyes are lighted. Looks like his mouth is lighted too. And over in the lower right, there am I, first time I ever went to Oruro, to the Carnival Festival, and I'm getting hugged by a bear. Here is the Archangel Michael. The Archangel always wears wings, a helmet, sometimes carries a sword. And here are some examples of some other devil masks. You see what a variety there is. This one seems to have eyes all over it, as well as the big eyes, that upper right. Are you all seeing my pointer? Sorry, I clicked on the screen when I shouldn't have. Are you seeing my pointer, everybody?
Yes.
Yeah, good.
Yes.
Just thank you. I just wanted to check. Okay. And just some more examples of the great variety of costuming and the masks.
I just want to add that all these dances have different representations, and you have different points of views of what it means for the locals. One of the versions for Diablada is the representation of the good and the evil, and for some people it means what we had before the Spanish arrived, and what we adopted after the Spanish arrived, with also the Catholic Church. So in all the dances you have different versions of what it means. Nobody has the final word for it. There are different versions, but one of the versions for Diablada is the ceremony between good and evil. Also is related to the mines. If you see in some of the pictures, most of these dances are related to the mines, because Oruro is a mining land.
Note the hats on the band members, the mining helmets. Now I'm going to go to a video of the Diablada. Bear with me. Oh dear, what's happening here? Just a moment. Okay, I think I'm about ready to make the share, and I'm sorry for this little bit of a holdup. Just a moment, I'll get there.
Sallie, you're going to have to share your screen again.
I know. I'm about to do that right now.
We had somebody
I just had to switch to find the screen I wanted to share, and I apologize.
No, it's okay. We actually had someone else sharing, and I fixed it.
Yeah, there was a glitch in the program, or in my in what happened just then. So a lot of devils. But they're being led out by the Archangel Michael. Yay, the good winds.
Sallie, is this in Cochabamba?
We have the same celebration in Cochabamba during Carnivals a week later.
Soy parte de la Diablada ferroviaria.
Carnival is a long celebration in Bolivia. In some cases it takes a month. So the first big event is in Oruro, and a week later we have a celebration. It's called the Corso de Corsos in Cochabamba, with some of the same dances in a big parade in Cochabamba. The other dance that we wanted to share with you, it's called Tinkus. Tinku in Quechua means meeting, and basically it's a ceremony. It represents a ceremony of meeting of two communities: the people from the mountains and the people from the valleys. We call in Spanish and Quechua the Arribeños and Abajeños. Basically, it's a representation of a fight of these communities. The belief says that people with meet in a special place. Normally, it's in north of Potosi, to fight, and the blood that they will lose during this fight, it's an honor to Mother Earth. It's to wish a good harvest the rest of the year. This celebration is organized in May, the 1st of May. It's also the time where the Catholic Church celebrates the cross. So it's a fusion. Next one, please. It's a fusion between, again, local traditions and what happened when the Spanish arrived. The colors of the costumes are very, very unique, because these textiles are made in these communities, and they use local plants or minerals to paint the textiles, and the colors are super bright with the specific details. If you see the skirts, next one please, you can also see in the men groups, they are using a helmet. They are having the helmet in their hands. The helmet, it's also a copy or representation of the Spanish helmet when they arrived here. It's made of cow leather. It's used now in the dance to show power, to show how strong they are. Again, it's a representation of a fight. Actually, in some communities, they still practice this activity. The government or the local authority tried to stop this tradition, but it's difficult because it comes from the Inca time, and it's hard to stop. They try to take the police or militaries to stop it, but what they do is just move to a different place and continue the practice. Sometimes people dies in this events, in this ceremony, and for these communities, it means that it'll be a great year for agriculture. It's a good it's a good sign for them.
In other words, their blood was given to Pachamama.
Yes, it can sound very rough, or I don't know, very something from the old times, but as I mentioned before, they still practice this ritual in some communities in Potosi, in the border between Potosi and Oruro. There are specific communities. One of the communities is called Macha. So if you Google it, you can find these activities.
You see the helmet in this man's hand, very heavy cow leather. not flexible at all. Shall I go on?
Yes, please. This dance is very popular with young people. With all these dances, during Carnival, you find groups of 100, 200 people dancing at the same time. There's a big group at the local university, but in every city you will find big groups of Tinkus, and it's very popular. It's a very energetic dance.
I'm going to go to the next video that we are sharing with you. Just a moment here. You should be seeing Tinkus.
Can you share your screen?
Are you seeing it? No.
No.
Yo soy negrero mulasquetay, desde chiqui, ay, kiwasay, yo soy negrero mulasquetay. Hoy en día, ay, kiwasay, más todavía mulasquetay. Hoy en día, ay, kiwasay, más todavía mulasquetay. Ay, caray, soy feliz, con mi Cristo vida. Ay, caray, soy feliz, que viva la vida.
Okay, Sallie, we can continue probably.
Well, I think you can see it. It needs young people. It's a very energetic one. I'll take
Mauricio, what are the words? What are the words to the music?
I have been trying to get up with him for about
That's a
2 weeks.
mixture of
and he doesn't
Aymara
respond.
and Spanish, I believe.
He's you know, we were watching a clip. Many of the local folklore groups will organize clips to show these dances. This particular group is talking about somebody's personal experience in their life. It's called Wistu Vida. In Quechua, Wistu means not straight, like not straight life.
Ah.
So Caporales, the next dance, Caporales represents the overseers, the foremans of the slaves. They represent the mulattoes during that time. Normally they were the people in charge of the slaves in the crops, in the coca crops, in Los Yungas, in La Paz. If you see the details in the costumes, they were in the boots bells. They mentioned that, you know, these bells were to prevent the slaves that they were coming. The first picture you saw are my family members, my cousin and my two brothers.
Here's Mauricio's brothers and his cousin.
I used to practice this dance for years, for more than 15 years in the past when I was younger and thinner, more energy. But this is the representation of the managers, overseers, foremans, whatever you want to call, of the slaves. Can we see more pictures? In the group you have different members of groups. This is called machas. Normally the women who don't want to use short skirts, they will dress like the men style. These are very popular groups inside the Caporales. Many ladies do not want to use the short skirts because you will see they are, all these years the costumes change a lot. Next one, the origin of Caporales is the La Saya Afro-Boliviana. The Saya is the music, the culture, the dances, the dances that the African Bolivians practice for years. And the type of music is similar to the groups in Brazil and Uruguay in South America or in Africa. They use a lot of drums to make noise, the specific rhythm. So next one, please. The origin of Caporales is in this group in La Saya Afro-Boliviana. Now, next one, please. You can see the costumes they especially the young ladies use is very short, very sexy. Again, all these dances are practiced by locals. We are proud of our culture, of our dances, but all these years the style of the costumes change little by little. What we are trying to share with you now is what you can see in the actual carnival. Next one, please. The same with the men. The costumes change a lot, but they are representing the same thing. In this case, they have less bells in the boots, but it depends of the group of how many bells they use. In Bolivia, we have different groups, but this dance is also popular in countries like US or in some countries in Europe with the Bolivian residents. In United States, there are certain times of the year that you can go, for example, to Arlington, Virginia, and there'll be a big parade with these dances. There's a famous group called Caporales San Simon in Cochabamba, and they have representations in United States like Caporales USA. There's another group that I belong to. It's called Santiago. Also, they have a representation in Arlington. There's a big parade in New York, close to September. I'm not sure if it's the 1st or the 5th of September. There's a big Latino event in New York, and you can see all these groups performing with also local bands who travel to US for these big events.
Notice what the women are wearing on their feet. Can you imagine parading for a long time in shoes like that? They do it, but some get really painful. Another look at the Caporales Ansaldo, isn't it?
Yes, this is Santiago and Saldo, and as I mentioned, all these groups are organized by friendships, family members, people who knows for a long time. These are very popular. This is a group, San Simon. So, for example, this is a good picture of my cousin, and
oh yeah, good. Let's go.
And some years ago, me preparing for a parade. Sallie was here and took that picture.
Yeah.
But again, you find groups of 200, 300 members practicing this in a parade.
To save money, I remember when Mauricio was telling me when I was there that he learned how to sew on sequins so that he could sew the sequins on his own costumes.
Yes, these costumes can be expensive, from $200 to $600-700. So many people like me in the past learned how to sew it, especially the figures you see in the costume. We had to bordar. I don't know what's the word for bordar, if it's the same for sewing.
Embroider.
Yes, to save some money. So for 3 or 4 months before Carnival, we're doing this job to reduce the costs, because you have to pay the band, you have to pay a lot of things during Carnival.
Now I'm going to show you a video or two of the Caporales. Let me get out of this video, excuse me, and I'll go on to the next and share my screen with you all. Let's see. I think I'm there. Okay. Just moving it ahead a little bit. Well, now we'll go back. Now you have a taste of the Caporales, and we'll go to continue on with the slideshow. Mari, you're muted.
The next dance is Morenada. Basically, it's this dance. Next one, please. It's a satire of the slaves. They're trying to represent the slaves in the mines. If you see in their costumes in this picture, they have mining helmets. Next one, please. We will see the scarf they are using. It's a satire of the black slaves, like a bear, the big eyes. The also they have a special sound. Next one, please. They use a instrument. It's called.
What happened here? Oh,
Okay.
do we?
It's okay.
There's the instrument.
They use an instrument called matraca to make a noise. That noise represents the chain of the slaves.
It's a rattling sound, and so that while it doesn't look like a chain, it makes the sound that represents the slave chain.
Yeah, that's what they are trying to represent. And if you look carefully, what they are having in their hand, it's an armadillo. We call quirquincho. Years ago, they were allowed to have a quirquincho in the matracas. Now it's prohibited according to local laws to use any type of animals or feathers in Carnival. You can see in the pictures in the bottom that is one with quirquincho. how it look in the bottom part. And the other one is the actual matraca. It's very popular with the dancers. Something that I want to highlight, that these costumes are very heavy, from 40 kilograms to 50 probably, depending of the things you add to your costume. In this case, it has a cape, it has a heavy mask. Sometimes the mask, the mask, it's 10 kilograms. So it's a very sacrifice activity for the person who is dancing.
They often have to, with this kind of Morenada costume, they often have to have help on with this, and it comes in parts. There's this bottom part they put on first, and then this part that bears on their shoulders, and then the mask on top.
Mm-hmm. In each of these dances, you have different members. This group is what we call the damas antiguas, or the gentlewomen or the old women. They are representing the local cholitas. You see the type of skirts they are using is the same type as the European when they arrived here, especially the Spanish ladies. You actually can see in the streets of Bolivia cholitas wearing these clothes for Carnival. You know, these people who are dancing in this picture are people who are using costumes. Probably they don't wear this kind of stuff day by day, but they are representing the local cholitas. Something I want to add also is the type of hats they have. Are the English styles, the what's called the bowler hats. Originally, somebody imported from Europe for the men's in Bolivia, but they didn't like it. The cholitas adopted it at the beginning of the 20th century. Now it's part of their vestment. You can find people on the streets of Bolivia using these hats, these skirts that we call polleras, and these ladies are represented in La Morenada.
Yeah, although these costumes, as Mauricio pointed out, are very elaborate, the style is exactly what you would see on the streets of Bolivia, and the way the skirt is made with these multiple pleats and lots of petticoats and so on. That's typical wear for cholitas on any street.
Again, a good representation of this mask. Probably this one is made of silver or something similar, but as you can see, it's very elaborate, and again, it's just a satire of the black slaves who arrived during the colony time. Some of the members, especially the second day of Carnival, they won't use the masks, and it's a good opportunity to sing. At the end of this presentation, we will see a band, but in some cases, the dancers will sing to the people who is assisting to this parade, especially the second day of Carnival, that they don't use the masks.
Oh, we're going to be showing a video or two of the Morenada. Bear with me again. We will go to a video of it.
Can you share your screen? Sallie?
Yeah.
Share your screen, please.
Just a moment. The next group are Tobas. I've got to just for a moment go to my video and stop the sound. Somehow the sound did not quit. Let's see, why is it still? I'm sorry, got some background noise here. Oh, goodness. I don't understand why I'm getting that sound. I stopped the video. Let's see. One more try here. I apologize. Okay. It started itself up again for some reason. I'm having trouble because my videos are behind something else that's popped up on the screen. Give me a moment more. Are you seeing the Tobas slide?
Yes.
Good. Okay. I think I've got it all in order again. I'm having to just jump from one to another, and they're all on different parts of the screen. Okay. The Tobas were a tribe of warriors who lived in the Chaco region of Bolivia. The Incas admired the Tobas dance, and they were taken from their Amazonian homeland by an Inca emperor, Tupac Yupanqui. The dance and the music of the Tobas have been reinterpreted by subsequent people of Bolivia. They represent, of course, the Amazon indigenous, and they wear a lot of feathers. This is a very energetic dance. Although these represent old men, I'm sure they're young men underneath. You can see they're totally off the ground, leaping. And this is not particularly original costuming of the Tobas, but as Mauricio said, they like to be sexy. They wear feathers. A lot of feathers represent that Amazon region. And here is a different kind of a costume, again, loaded with feathers.
So this dance, if I can add something, it's this dance represents some tribes, some groups in the eastern part of Bolivia, especially in the departments of Santa Cruz, Beni, Pando, part of the Chaco, Bolivia. These represent groups who hunt and fish for surviving. There are still some groups in jungle areas of Bolivia, and they are trying to represent these groups. Again, each costume has a different meaning. If you note the feathers in the legs of the ladies, what they are trying to represent, of the beliefs is that they want to fly to hunt. They need to be very unique. They use special methods to hunt and fish. So that's why they have feathers in their legs too, because they jump, they try to fly when they are doing this activity.
You almost think they're going to, they leap so high. These there's usually one in the group, and he represents the wise old leader of the group, or shaman, and they have huge costumes, and again, loaded with feathers. Now we're going to see a video or two of the Tobas to get a sense of just how energetic they are. One moment, please. I'm going to stop sharing that screen and start sharing another. This represents the hunting. No matter what the costume is, you see they all have characteristics in common.
Actually, this video was taken in Virginia in one of the festivals they have for special occasions. Rod asked if these dances is only for Carnival or other celebrations during the year. Oh, these parades we have in different times of the year. Carnival is the biggest event, but for some Catholic celebrations, for example, Urcupiña in Cochabamba or Gran Poder in La Paz, we have a similar parade with similar dances. In some cases, the dancers will begin or will begin their new costumes for Carnival because that's the big event. But we practice these dances all year around in the big cities and also in the small rural areas in different Catholic celebrations.
Now this one would be the festival of Urcupiña. There's a story about the Virgin there in Quillacollo, which is near Cochabamba, the city of Cochabamba. Note those boots. I think we've gotten into other styles of dancing now. Here we go, back to the Tobas. Here we go. I wanted you to see some of the leaping. Okay. Now let me go to the PowerPoint show.
This is another dance, Pujllay. This dance comes from a specific region in Bolivia, Tarabuco, the Llamarada groups. Again, they are in their costumes. Next one, please. They are trying to represent the Spanish groups. You see if you can see the helmets they use are the similar helmets that the Spanish use when they arrive here. This is a particular group. They use some flutes to make the music. They have what in some places they call the warriors of Bolivia, because they are representing some tall, big guys, very strong guys. Next one, please. And as I mentioned, Carnival is celebrated during the harvest time, during the rainy season, and if you look the details in his helmet, you see some flowers, and it represents the time of the year. They practice this dance during Carnival in this region, in Tarabuco, in Sucre. Next one, please. They were trying to show how tall were the Spanish, so the type of shoes they have to represent it are exaggerated. They use this kind of stuff that the Spanish use for the horses, the spurs. And it's really impressive how they dance using these abarcas. And normally shoes for the farmers here are these type of things, but not exaggerated like this. So they make a special noise while they are dancing. Basically, the noise comes from the spurs. And again,
these are spurs at the back. They are rowels on, very large rowels on spurs, imitating the Spaniard equipment.
Yes. Next one.
I'm going to show the video.
Okay. And Pujllay in Quechua means game. So for them, it's a celebration. It's kind of it's the time when they were trying to, as the same as the other groups in Bolivia, is the harvest time. Is the time to share the products, the corn, the bread, the fruits that we harvest during the rainy season.
Vamos a dar la bienvenida también a la comunidad.
Some of the instruments that you heard are represented here. The flute, long flute. There's so many kinds of flute instruments in Bolivia. It's incredible. Big ones, little ones, high-pitched ones. And then to kind of wind things up, I wanted to show you briefly just a few of the other types of dancers. The Sicuris have these great big circular headdresses full of feathers. They're very tall, as you can see. Sometimes in a wind, the dancer has to sort of reach up and hold on because it's going to get blown away. But this is typical Sukuri. You don't see as many of the Sukuri dancers now, but they do appear. And then there was a style of dancing called negritos, imitating the colorful costumes, perhaps from Brazil, the Caribbean, of the Negro slaves. And Mauricio tells me that because of cultural awareness and political correctness, that the negritos don't appear anymore in the parades. Then there's a style called wakatokoris, and that is sort of a satire of the bullfights that the Spaniards brought. These costumes are worn by a person, and around their waist they have this bull as part of their costume. I think that I'm going to skip over, I don't want to keep this going long, so I'm going to skip over the video that I have of the wakatokoris and show you some pictures of the Llamarada or Llamarada. You notice that these dancers were a particular style of headdress. They represent the llama herders of the Altiplano. They've got llama figures on the skirts. Some do, depends on the costume. And these are holding a little llamita, little llama in one hand, and then they're holding this device in the other hand that they swirl, which is to move the animals along. So they swirl it and urge the animals to keep on moving. They're not burdened with those high boots and tall stilettos that some of the dancers wear. This is much more traditional costume, but again, you see the polera in that same pleated style with the overblouse. And so this is the Llamarada. And I thank you for your participation on behalf of the partners. I beg your pardon, we were going to show one more thing and we'll end with this, and that is a video of one of the bands. So let me go and include that. I'll get there. Incredible number of musicians in these parades.
This band, it's called Banda Popó, is one of the most popular bands in Bolivia. They travel around the world. That's why they call the Intercontinental Band Popó. Popó is a region close to Oruro, close to the Wari factory. Wari is a community outside of Oruro where they make a good beer. That's the name of a famous beer in Bolivia, and this group belongs to a community close to this area. The band is it's the soul of the event. Many people goes to Oruro to different festivals only to watch the bands, to go behind the bands, to record them. And some people will pay a lot of money to be part of these bands. Like local business people, some musicians, they will beg to be part of these big bands.
Right. Again, you note the helmet style, the miners' helmets. Lots of brass, drums and cymbals. So I think that we'll end it here. And thank you all.
Thank you so much, Sallie. This was wonderful. Thank you.
All right. Well, I'm glad that we had so many people who were able to come and listen and watch. I hope that for some of these, it felt like you were almost there. It's just a marvelous experience. And someday, if you haven't been there, try to get to Bolivia.
Sallie,
Thank you.
I'm so glad that you shared so many different, not only costumes, but groups. I had no idea that there was such diversity and so
Right.
many different groups, apparently all over the country. And I'm so glad that you recorded this.
One thing I didn't mention is that I remember seeing Daisy Marlene in costume. She has participated in the Morenada.
Sallie,
Hi.
realmente excelente la presentación que han hecho Mauricio contigo.
Gracias, fue un gran gusto colaborar colaboración entre Bolivia y Carolina del Norte.
Excelente, y hay más costumbres, ¿no? Que en lo posterior se puede también difundir. Vamos a estar programando, ¿no? Otras tal vez costumbres, qué sé yo, en la parte cultural. Hay mucho para compartir, ¿no? Un saludo, un abrazo a todos.
There's lots to share of the culture, and as you can tell, Bolivia is very rich in cultural traditions. Oh, hi, Wilma. I see you're there with Carlos. That's good. We've been to the carnival parades together, haven't we? You're muted, but I know it's fine. Whoops.
So thanks for the opportunity. It was a good time. It's good to see friends. I hope we can meet in person sooner or later, here or there. And again, it was a great opportunity to share a little bit of our culture. We are proud of it. And as Marlene mentioned, there's a lot to share. Maybe in the future we can organize, or some other people can help to organize other activities like this. It's good to see you. Please take care, and we'll meet soon, here or there.
Thanks, Mauricio.
Thank you so much,
Mauricio, you were
Un abrazo, Sallie, un abrazo, Mauricio. Gracias por compartir esta excelente presentación.
Gracias, Noeli. Abrazos para todos mis amigos en Cochabamba.
Gracias, Sallie. Un abrazo para todos en Carolina del Norte y a todos los que están visualizando esta presentación.
Gracias por asistir. Mari, I see you're probably not muted. Greetings to you. So glad you could be here.
Thank you from Arizona.
All right, Diane, it was good for you to come. I'm so pleased you could be here. Well, so pleased everyone showed up. There were more who signed up who for some reason weren't able to join us, but with that recording, perhaps we can provide that to the ones who missed it. I see that a good friend, Mauricio Ramirez, is there, and he is now in Iraq. He is a staunch Bolivian. I've been to my second carnival in Oruro. Mario and some of his compadres from SAR Bolivia drove me and others in a Jeep, and we traveled to Oruro to see a wonderful carnival. But I especially remember his son took delight in the foam throwing part where you get a can of foam and you just can spray anybody. That we didn't show much of that, but that's sort of part of the celebration. But he was just loading up on us rather than other people. He was just of an age to take great delight in that. That was several years ago, but thanks to Mario for the trip to Oruro. Any questions or chats? Let's see. Looks like there's some comments. Yeah, Christian had to leave. And Tanya said, I feel like dancing and eating puchero now. I don't wonder. Yeah. Yeah.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Do you, every year you make new costumes, or do they use those costumes, year after year?
With some groups, it's every year,
Yeah.
especially the big ones. And for the majority, every other year, because again, it's expensive. You have to invest a lot, not only in the costume, because for example, people from Cochabamba has to travel to Oruro, and they have to pay transportation, hotel, bands, food. It's a lot of investment. Not investment, because you're not making any money out of it.
Well, you're investing it in a cultural richness. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, but it's a lot of money that the participants put into this, and particularly in Carnival, going to Oruro is more expensive than the normal day during the year.
Of course.
Because we have a lot of visitors from Europe, from other countries, from US. And something important is that many Bolivians who live outside of this country returns for Carnival. So it's a huge event, and it's a lot of money.
Yeah, 2 times a year at least. You'll find it's hard to get air travel to Bolivia. One is in early August, and then one is at the time of Carnival.
They're just gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous.
I know, it is knock your eyes out gorgeous. And to be there and feel the pulsing of the bands, and you're right there. That picture of me that I showed you, we were able just to stand right beside the parade way. It's become so much more populated now that you see people in the stands, but still people get out of the stands and run into the street and go take a picture right beside, they'll do a selfie right beside one of the dancers and all of that. Any other questions? You're certainly welcome to unmute yourselves, or comments.
I have a comment. Just for, I'm not sure if you mentioned it, but for example, some dancers, one of the best Morenada groups, they have to pay like $1,000 to dance in Oruro.
Oh wow! No,
and one of them $1,500, and it is expensive. Yes,
that's per group.
Per person.
No, per person.
No. Oh my gosh, that's terrible.
Yes, that's the cost to dance in Oruro in one of the best Morenadas. $1,000.
Unbelievable. Noelia is the daughter of Marlene, Daisy Marlene here, and Noelia is now the president of the Cochabamba Partners. I just wanted to let you know.
Yes, thank you.
So I'm so glad that you could make it here. I'm pleased to see a number of Bolivians here, and I thought for some of the Bolivians it would be aburrido, boring, but several of them came because they're wonderfully devoted partners members.
Yes, that's true, and we love our culture too.
Absolutely. I have a charango that was also made out of a armadillo. And I brought it back to the States because it actually belonged to a fellow who lived in the same place I did in Cochabamba. And I brought it back to try to send it back to him. And I've never been able to get him to respond and back in touch. So I still have that after all these years, but it's kind of a neat thing. I'll run get it. And then I guess maybe that'll be the end of things.
So you're welcome to visit next year when we are all vaccinated for carnivals or for any other celebration in Bolivia. As I mentioned, different times of the year, there's these parades. The biggest ones are carnivals and in Cochabamba or Cupiña in August, in the middle of August.
So here is the charango that is made from an armadillo. And of course, this would no longer be allowed, but this is an ancient one. And here is a noisemaker on a bracelet. And you Bolivians know what it's made of. Can you non-Bolivians guess? We don't have many non-Bolivians left in the group, I think, but to go ahead and Leslie has left her chair. Sandy, do you have a guess as to what?
I don't know, it might be shells.
It sounds kind of like shells, but.
Sallie, son pezuñas de cabra.
Yeah.
Oh, goat.
Well, you knew, yes. They're goat toenails.
Oh.
Goat toenails. So this is a great noisemaker. Okay, well, if that's it, I'm going to say goodbye. And it was fun for us. It was fun for me just to have some time to interact with Mauricio. And he did such a fabulous job of helping to collect pictures and videos. And it was a good collaboration.
Thank you.